You and I have a rendezvous with destiny. We'll preserve for our children this, the last best hope of man on earth, or we'll sentence them to take the last step into 1,000 years of darkness.
We can deport violent, illegal criminals. That makes a lot of sense.
I continue to believe Mr. Trump will not be president.
Obama was not the president for this system.
Do you think that House Democrats and Senate Democrats should try to cooperate with Donald Trump
if he tries to kick people off their health insurance? We're going to have a Youngstown street fight.
The American people, they voted against Hillary. They voted against this administration.
We pledge allegiance to one flag, and that flag is the American flag.
Welcome to the Abolitionists Roundtable, your all-access pass to the 2017 Red, White, and Blue Conservative Revolution. Join the conversation at 734-822-1600. Now, here are your hosts, Del Marsh, Phil Stargell, and Janice Daniels.
All right, well, good greetings. Welcome to the Abolitionist Roundtable. We're going to take a journey down Freedom's Highway again. We're still in our fundraising month, the month of February. In addition, you know, this is Black History Month. We're going to just touch a little bit on Black history, which is American history. It's all our history. It's the legacy of America. Now, here, when we talk about a little bit about Black history, and some of the struggles that were in America, it was not America. It was not America that did the ones that did the oppression, the ones that stopped people from having opportunity. It was not America that had slavery and created these black codes and Jim Crow laws and all these other things. This was a part of the Democrat Party. This is a part of their history. They were the enforcement arm. So I hate, you know, liberals always and progressives always use they use that broad term that America. Folks, it was only in certain states that they had a lot of these institutions, that they had all these laws. It was not all over America. It was only in Democratic strongholds. Democrat state. Matter of fact, here I want to, before I get into our agenda today, the agenda is going to be, we got something very special, very special. I want to say that you can go to our YouTube, go to our website, artofmichigan.com. First, I want you to help us continue with this message. Whatever you can support, some people can support a little bit more because you're doing a little bit better. I want you to go to our website, artofmichigan.com. Second, if you'd like to send us an email, if you want to participate, you know, it's up early. You don't want to call in, send us an email at art@whamradio.com. All mail, all correspondence, all checks, any support, whatever you want to do, send it to our P.O. Box 135, Garden City, Michigan, 48135. Okay, So when you go to our website, you click on our YouTube and you say, I want to listen again of today's message you'll look it up, and it's going to be titled Weapon of Mass Information. Oh boy, is that a good title? What? Yeah. Weapon of mass misinformation. Folks, they call it fake news today. I'm saying this is the liberal media is using this as a weapon. I'm talking about there's so much mass misinformation out there. What I do is whenever I see something, I have to look at it from three different perspectives. So I find three different sources, and then I know the truth is somewhere in the middle. Matter of fact, you know that they ran a story yesterday. You've probably seen it. I think the AP ran it that Donald Trump was going to send out like 10,000 or 5,000 National Guard to some of the border states. Well, this was fake news. Again, fake news. And then we seen the leftists from New York, Chucky Schumer, come out and say, oh, that's despicable. Wait a minute. Let's go back for a minute. you know, I'm gonna go back in history for a minute, but it did in modern history. It happened. It was Obama that sent the National Guard to the border. It was President Trump that President Bush that sent the National Guards to the border. But let's go back a little bit in history. It was the National Guard after we just had fought a contentious war. Now we have the 13th, 14th Amendment now has been has given blacks freedom, has given them citizenship, and has given them voting rights. Well, it has given not all blacks, but black males. And so, matter of fact, that's a correction that I want to make from last week. What I said is that blacks had the right to vote before women. Well, that correction is that it were black males that had the right before women did. Women didn't get the right to vote. Was it 1923? I think, Mayor, somewhere around in that area right there. But anyway, so. What did Lincoln have to do after this emancipation that just happened, after freedom had just happened, Phil? He had to send the National Guard. The National Guard had to come to those communities, those Democrat strongholds. At that time, it was the southern states. The National Guard had to come and protect those citizens at that time. Is that right, Phil?
Exactly right.
And so, yeah, that was a time when we needed the National Guard. It was a young kid named Ruby in Arkansas and was trying to go to school. You know, they opened up the schools and they had to deploy the National Guard because Democrats were they were up. Matter of fact, I just saw Betsy DeVos going into were they doing
standing in the door,
again. Look
just
at
like
them.
Faubus, just like Governor Wallace. They're standing in the door of education for young black students. Same thing they were doing 40 years ago.
So I mean, I was going to go into it, but we don't even have to because Democrats are repeating the history of their own party. They're repeating it. They're doing the exact same intimidation, manipulation.
And they're funding their enforcement arm.
Yes.
What did Barack Obama say? He wanted a group.
An army.
An army, yeah.
Just as strong and just as well funded.
That's right.
Yeah.
And we're seeing it because we have congressmen that can't even hold town hall meetings because the disruptive nature of Democrat operatives that are paid by groups like George Soros funded MoveOn.org and all of these people, Black Lives Matter, Occupy Wall Street, all of these organizations are being funded. Why don't they take that money and revitalize the neighborhoods? George Soros put $100 million into Black Lives Matter. What would have happened if he'd have put that money into Harlem or Detroit, Chicago, and tried to do something constructive instead of destructive?
Yeah. Continuing to help them destroy America, destroy, and not just that. That Phil, when we saw these kids that were in Ferguson, they were burning down their own neighborhood. They were burning down the Rite Aid that they go to, the other stores that they go to. Then they complained that there wasn't stores in their community, there wasn't grocery stores in their community. Why they were burning them down at the stores that were there.
Yeah, and these lawless events were all orchestrated from another area, from somewhere else. Most of those people were outsiders that were in those neighborhoods burning down.
Yes.
And so why, just like in the last couple of days, we've heard that the stock market has put $2 trillion into the stock market. From people investing. How much of that was invested by black Americans? How much of it will be reaped by black Americans? Not very much. And so what I'm saying to you is,
well, they want to keep them poor.
When people, exactly.
And it's not just blacks. They want to keep all Americans poor.
Yeah,
they want to
as
keep
many
them
as
all
they
dependent as they can.
again, in all these opportunities, like you said, they could invest that money and put computers in these schools and teach some of these kids how to invest their money, how to create opportunities for themselves. Everyone don't need to go to college. How teach them trades. They could. George Soros could come up. They could have built a trade school where and these kids can be unleashed to go into their own communities, rebuild their own communities.
Right.
But instead, it's not about that.
Trump has said that there is money coming to the black neighborhoods.
Yes.
But there's an agenda that he has to do. But you notice that there has been a concerted effort by the Black Caucus to not cooperate, not participate with Donald Trump. This is the President of the United States. You're telling your children that they should not participate or not respect the President of the United States and the assistance that he's trying to get your cooperation to find out what would be best for your neighborhoods. Instead of that, we're spending a known $100 million by George Soros to be disruptive in those neighborhoods.
Yep. Okay, so here, again, this is our fundraising month. We need you to go to our website, artofmichigan.com, artofmichigan.com. Again, if you want to look up this show, when you go to our website, artofmichigan.com, click on our YouTube account. Matter of fact, I want you to be a subscriber to our YouTube. I want you to give comments on these shows. But today, we're calling today's show Weapon of Mass Information, Casualties of War. Here, I got an article. Misinformation. I'm sorry, misinformation. And it is misinformation out there. It's called fake news. And what are the casualties of this war that we're in right now? One of the articles I want to mention, and then we're going to hear from the mayor, because the mayor has some things to say. Obama, this is from the Patriot, and it says that Obama's shadow government wages secret war and out Flynn. So we know that that Flynn, was attacked, and he is the first of the casualty of this war that liberals are, because now they're going after the young man. They're going after what's his name again, Stephen Miller. Then they're gonna go after Bannon. They're going after all of them. They're gonna try to pick them off one by one. By one.
They got Putster. They were hoping to get Betsy DeVos. That was the scalp that they wanted.
Well, and that's why they standing in front of those schools right now. They blocking the door today.
Yeah. And so, but they got Putster, and I got a quote I want to read by him a little later on when you get a chance, because this guy had a contribution that that could have been made, and I think he was the right guy for the job.
Yeah. So they looking over. They digging into everything that you ever say. Matter of fact, I heard him even say something about Stephen Miller. They went back and looked at a video from him in grade school or high school or something like that. So, but anyway, here, let's say good morning to the mayor. Good morning, Mayor. She was off last week, and so I know she has some things she'd like to share with us this morning.
Good morning, guys. I didn't get involved in the conversation about Black History Month because I'm still dealing with my anxiety over white privilege. I know.
Do you have one of those little pins?
That's what I was just going to say. I'm going to order one of the pins. Elizabethtown College in Pennsylvania has a little puzzle piece pin for people to use to recognize white privilege. So I think it's important that we understand that the reason why I've been silent for these past 10 minutes is because I am guilty of white privilege. And you know what? There are so many news issues that are out there that are confusing and confounding the public that we can't even keep things straight, quite frankly. Quite frankly, we're living in uncharted territory with all this information, and we can't trust the people that we've elected to protect us, and we can't trust the media that's supposed to inform us. Obama, the ex-president, has a shadow enterprise to destroy this administration. In fact, it looks as though he almost wants to create a revolution so that the people are so afraid of what's going on in the streets.
That's what it is.
That they're going to beg. We're going to start begging the global enterprise to come in and save us. To save us. That's why there is always should be a debate about liberty and security. And so many people are losing the concept of liberty. We are supposed to be a free people, and we are being crushed by a misinformed or misinforming media who seems to be infiltrated by our enemies, the same enemies that are infiltrating our administration. Now, I love Donald Trump. I love him, but I'm very afraid of the people that are surrounding him and the people that are surrounding him with. I don't trust Reince Priebus. I'm sorry. He is part of the Republican establishment. And the other evening, and maybe even was last night, when I heard on Sean Hannity's interview of House Speaker Paul Ryan, and Paul Ryan said, "Oh, Trump and we're all on the same page." That scares me. That scares me, because Donald Trump as an individual is being advised by people who I don't think have his best interest or our best interest in mind.
Name one of those people you're talking about. You talking about Reince Priebus?
I'm talking about, well, first of all, he was talking to James Clapper about the intelligence agency when that fake news story about Trump's visit to Russia with some ladies of the night.
Yeah, that's right.
You know, and James Clapper, the former National Intelligence Director, says, "Oh, well, the intelligence community isn't involved in the leaks that are going on." Well, now it seems as though we've discovered that they are.
Well, there are leaks coming from this administration and
from the intelligence community.
From this, administration, but from the intelligence, from all these bureaucrats, and again, this is why you got to clean house. He's going to have to really clean house from some of these people that's in there, and you know, because we still have people that's loyal to the previous administration that was in there, and they're still loyal to helping protect the legacy of the previous administration. So
Lieutenant General Flynn was disliked by the intelligence community because he was pointing out the facts that they are not doing what's in our best interest. So what did they do? They took him down.
Yeah, because Flynn was very outspoken again when President Obama was in office, and you know, one of the things he spoke about was this fake war that's going on against ISIS. You know, the president was never really trying to take them out.
Look how many people that we've lost. Look at Michelle Bachmann. You know, she was pushed aside.
Exactly.
You know, we have got to be very, very careful, because it seems to me that so many people in the Republican Party are so anxious to work with the other side.
That's right.
Instead of saying, well, look, you know, we'll work with you where we can, but where we can't work with you, we're going to oppose you, not just get along with you. That's the attitude that they have, because that's the attitude that the Democrats have.
That's right.
They don't. They do not talk about, you know, like, oh, well, you know, let's
not when
work
they had
together.
a majority. When they have a majority,
no.
Absolutely not.
Absolutely
but when they in the minority, that's when they
want to reach across the aisle and all that.
That's when they had a kumbaya moment.
But they still want to set the rules of engagement.
Exactly. You know? And we still follow them. You know what? Truly, the media and the people were following the liberal agenda like dogs chasing cars. I mean, we really are. Every issue that we bring up is presented to us by the leftist media. And you know what? In this NSA scandal that's going on right now, and it is a scandal that Flynn's phone conversation was taped and then revealed to the media rather than to President Trump. It was revealed to the media. Now that made me think about Edward Snowden.
That was still classified information.
It was classified information.
It should have never been leaked to the media at all. So
that's a felony.
That is a felony.
Right. It's espionage, really. That's what it is.
Now I want to hear from Jeff Sessions, our new Attorney General. I feel confident that he's on the right track, but
Jeff
who
Sessions
knows?
Also, well, one of the things they're doing is because it was, they still trying to keep this, Mayor, you know it, the liberals are still trying to keep this Russian conspiracy going on.
Yeah,
and that's
it
what
makes
it's about.
for good news.
It does make for good news. So they trying to still keep this Russian conspiracy going on, that it was the people, the people, American people rejected Hillary Clinton.
Can I make one little correction?
Globalism.
It doesn't make good news. It makes good headlines.
Absolutely.
It's not news. It is fake news.
And it is fake news, and it's a fake headline, but they trying to create these fake headlines, and they still trying to put this round peg in that square hole. But they're going to keep up with this Russian thing because they just trying to plant a seed in the American people's mind over and over and over that it was the Russian, that he was not elected fairly. It was the Russians that helped him out. The Russians took out Hillary Clinton, and we know that was the farthest from the truth because Hillary, as a secretary, she the one that brokered this uranium deal with the Russians, 20%. And the Russians turned around and sold that uranium to Iran.
She's the one that had the private server in her basement. That was the genesis of being able to be leaked.
Yes.
I mean, what in the heck is going on?
So you hear the media, the fake news don't even talk about that.
They don't follow up. They don't start from A and go to Z. They start with M, N, P, Q, R, or LBGT. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to bring that up. Forgive me. Erase that from my NSA record, please. No, it's insidious, and people don't take the time to do the background to look at these issues. Edward Snowden should be considered a hero, and instead he was demonized by the media because it didn't fit their agenda. They didn't want us to know that the NSA is spying on the American people, and then the NSA comes out and says, "Oh, it's only mega data. Don't worry about it. We don't care. And besides, if you're not talking to anybody from Russia, what difference does it make?"
Exactly.
Here, Mayor, I want to hold on just a minute. Mayor, I want to go back because I want to finish up, and then on the other side, we're still going to continue this, and we got some other stuff. But I want to go back again for a minute with this. We know that President Obama has his he's in his secret underground bunker right now. Here, this is another headline. This is from the Free Beacon. Former President former Obama officials loyalty wage war campaign against and to out Flynn. Another one, this is from Front Page magazine. It says Obama's shadow presidency, well-funded organizing for America, promised to crack conservative skull to halt the President Trump's agenda. But I want to go to part B, the saga. Okay, so I want you to tell us about how well organized this particular this army that the former president has in this bunker. Right now, it may seem like he's quiet, but we know that he's in that bunker, and I want you to just give our audience a little bit of what's going on with.
Well, Dale, you provided us with a link to a website called Silver Doctors. Is that called Silver Doctors?
Yes.
Okay. I've never heard of that before, but it's an interesting article that they have published called Sabotage. Obama commanding army of 30,000 anti-Trump activists from his new home 2 miles from the White House. 2 miles from the White House. Of course, his guise is that he wants his little daughter is in a school in Washington, and that makes sense. Yeah. And that's all fine and well. But meanwhile, while he's waiting for her school year to end, he's trying to destroy our president.
That's right.
And it's unprecedented because most ex-presidents leave town and don't comment on the new administration. That's just like a rule of etiquette. But this guy, is creating protests. Yes. He's creating an army of protesters who are going to fight.
And that's why Trump. I was so glad that Trump said that he inherited a mess.
Oh, that's a good one. That was a good one.
Because Obama said that he had inherited everything that was wrong with the economy and everything else. He inherited it.
Yeah.
And then he had to straighten it out. And, man, I'm telling you, it was...
Yeah, I'm with you on that. Okay, I want you to go ahead and finish up now. He's saying that he has how many chapters, local chapters out there?
Well, just to defend Obamacare alone, it says that the group has planned 400 healthcare-focused events in 42 states this year, with partners that include mainline liberal groups like the Center for American Progress, Planned Parenthood, as well as those from Progressive League like MoveOn.org. This is insidious, gentlemen. This is insidious, and have to keep a spotlight on this kind of information.
All right, folks, if you'd like to join the conversation, give us a call at 734-822-1600. We'll see you on the other side of the break.
You're listening to the Abolitionists Roundtable, patriotic, red, white, and blue, conservative all-access radio, with your hosts, Del, Phil, and Janice. They're leading the charge in advancing the conservative revolution. Join the conversation at 734-822-1600.
Hello, I'm Milt, and this is Logically Speaking Uncensored. The Washington, D.C. feminasty baby killer insurrection. On Saturday, January 21, 2017, on the Mall in Washington, D.C., capital of the United States, the greatest nation on earth, there was an insurrection that simulated a third world hellhole when contingents of malcontents, mostly pro-abortion, rent-a-mob female anarchists, congregated to promote the killing of babies and disparage and denigrate Donald Trump, a legal American citizen whose presidency threatens their secular humanist orientations. The seditionist media headlined the insurrection as the Women's March, but this was fake words because it implied that every woman in the United States was for abortions and hated President Trump. Ashley Judge, an insurrection anarchist, articulated proudly that she and the females in attendance were nasty. To underscore her remarks, I combined feminist and nasty and created a new identifier I call feminasties. And because of the feminasties' rabid opposition to the sanctity of life and their devotion to infanticide, I call them baby killers. When I combined the two, I labeled the fiasco in Washington, D.C. as the feminasty baby killer insurrection. Feminasties, knowingly or unknowingly, are dedicated followers of eugenicist Margaret Sanger and shameless, unapologetic disciples of Dr. Kermit Gosnell, who through the genocide of abortion killed more black babies than anyone in American history. And feminasties with gutter language that put houses of ill repute to shame proliferated hooliganism and thuggery during the insurrection as people identified as President Trump's supporters were violently assaulted and berated. The feminasty baby killer insurrection was orchestrated and financed by anti-American fanatics like George Soros and saturated with the indoctrinated influence of erstwhile communistic socialist Saul Alinsky. Therefore, the anarchy in Washington, D.C. should come as no surprise because it was just another salvo from collectivists engaged in Civil War II. The instant mobilization of rent-a-mob brigades with pre-printed signs and coordinated chants of anger hypocritically prohibited pro-life heterosexual real women from expressing their anti-abortion sentiments. Former President Ali Obama said he wanted an army as powerful as the regular military. Such remarks from a commander-in-chief of the most powerful military in the world are illogical, unless he was referring to becoming the commander-in-chief of anti-American forces like Code Pink, MoveOn.org, Wall Street Occupiers, Black Lives Matters, the Muslim Brotherhood, the American Communist Party, Planned Parenthood, and Hate America First subversives. Be not deceived. The feminasties have been recruited into the Democrat Party's shadow government, professional underground militant agitation regiments. Therefore, the lesson to be learned is that the enemies of the state are an undeniable evil reality that cannot be dismissed. I am Milt, logically speaking uncensored, saying, think about it.
All right, folks. Thank you, Milt, for sending that commentary down. Again, we're still celebrating Black History Month, and also this February is a month that we want to also mention again. Go to our website, artofmichigan.com, artofmichigan.com. We still need your support.
what I want to do is I want to go ahead and clear the line, and then we're going to go back to the mayor, because the mayor still has some things that she want to share about this underground army, too. And also she's going to go on with some other things. So here, let's go. We have Gary from Hazel Park. Good morning, Gary.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
I want to talk about what you're talking about, Mayor, is this underground army of the president. You got to remember that this guy was a community organizer, a black liberation theologist from Chicago who made his way to the White House. While he was there, he hobnobbed with traitors and tyrants and Beyonce and everybody all over the world. He was like the cat's meow. He had everything at his hand, right? And then a white billionaire came up behind him, ran on a platform to undo everything that he's done. And so he's got a craw in the back of his jaw, or however you want to say that, to fight for his legacy. And he'll do it tooth and nail. This man has a grudge against America because we had the audacity to put Donald Trump in behind him to dismantle him.
Well, that's true, Gary. And, you know, the entire globalist agenda was put on a major pause with the election of Donald Trump as our president. Thank God for that. But Obama is the representative of the globalists. There's no doubt about that. He's backed by Soros, who is another white billionaire who is actually destroying Western civilization. Again, I hate to use such hyperbole, but it's true. Well,
there's no question about that. And Barack Hussein Obama helped him do that with the Arab Spring when they allowed hundreds of millions of Arabs and Muslims to invade Europe, and now they're trying to get them all into America.
Completely destabilize the Middle East. And you know what, I would like to wish that and hope that Donald Trump would bring up the issue of his safe zones in Syria, because I think that that is a very good alternative solution. Set up places where these people can be protected by the moderate Muslims over there. I mean, what the heck, you know? Let them protect their own people in their own region so that these people can safely go back home easily, rather than not just being migrated to this country, but invading this country.
That sounds nice, but I'm not too concerned about that. I think they should just go home and fight for their own country, whether they have safe spaces or not.
Well, there you go. But you see, they're being brought here to fight for their own country.
And they're fighting us.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, Gary, thank you so much for calling.
That's a good point, Mayor. They're brought here to fight for their country.
Yeah.
So what they're fighting is to destroy our country and make this country their country.
Yeah. That's exactly
and
right.
So yeah, that's a good. All right, so here, Mayor, go back and you know, I know you wanted to finish your thought on some things that you were that you had going
I'm consumed
on.
with. Yes, I agree.
So I know you got a lot that you consume with, because it's so much going on at the speed of light, and so that's why it's important for Trump to also move this administration at a whatever kind of speed that he can. He want to.
Well, you know, you asked me which people were in the administration that I was concerned about. The other question, as Phil pointed out, is who are the people that are being removed from this administration that we really would want. We would really want Lieutenant General Mike Flynn in as the National Security Advisor. He's gone. We also would really like Andy Puzder, difficult to say last name, Puzder. But he was derailed by the media, and it was supposedly because he hired an undocumented worker as a housekeeper. Now, he said that he didn't realize her immigration status. I'd take that on the face of it. And he said he paid back federal and state taxes after he realized that she was undocumented. He terminated her employment. Now, to me, that is a good argument for protecting and defending this guy. But here's the real reason, Phil pointed out to me. This is a comment that Mr. Puzder said. The federal government must dramatically reduce its spending across the board, and in many cases eliminate spending in many of our programs that consistently consume tax resources without any tangible, measurable benefits. It's time to rein in runaway government entitlements, appropriations, subsidies, grants, regulations, and those pet projects of senators and representatives that are often loaded with additional spending amendments to benefit their home state constituents and bolster their re-election prospects or to satisfy special interests and lobbyists. End quote. This is the kind of guy we want in the administration.
Exactly.
And this is the kind of guy that's being purged before the administration is even set up.
And that last part, when he talked about those politicians that are protecting their re-election thing, that is the exact reason why the whole agency thing here in this country is like it is. They've amassed power that we will never take away from them unless we get rid of those agencies. When people go to talking about taking agencies away, those people rise up and they start to raise trouble. That's what you just got through seeing when they leak things here and they leak things there. And
it's a rebellion against the status quo.
They're
trying to keep that status quo going on. These
again,
are unelected bureaucrats.
Yeah. And they don't focus on important things that do go on, such as back in 2008 when President Obama decided to appoint Timothy Geithner as his Treasury Secretary.
Exactly.
This guy had not paid $35,000 in Social Security and Medicare payroll taxes from 2001 through 2004. Now, that's real news.
Yeah.
And that should have been a real reason why a
should
real crook should
anywhere.
never have gotten into that administration. But
liberals,
instead, we
liberals
just forget about it,
liberals
move on.
protected him, and Republicans just moved on.
Move along, look the other way, don't look behind the curtain, and then we destroy a good man because he had an undocumented worker, and the Republicans would not defend him because they are also part of those senators and congressmen who are getting kickbacks and cushy jobs. You know, I was looking at that again. I bring up this interview that I know I came on a roll. I'm telling you,
that's okay.
I watched the interview of Sean Hannity with House Speaker Paul Ryan, and while I was watching it, I'm looking around at the room behind them.
Yeah.
Now, this is the room that we elected Paul Ryan to sit in.
Yeah.
Look at the kind of wealth that we, the people, have afforded these people to go to Washington with the sole purpose of protecting our rights, protecting our lives, our liberties, and our pursuit of happiness, however we define that. And look at what they are doing to us.
Mayor, you noticed that Paul Ryan had to put out that was a ceremonial room. You notice that?
Yeah, ceremonial. How many ceremonial rooms do they sit in? I wonder what kind of dining room they eat in compared to the kind of dining room that the three of us eat in.
Exactly
It's a scandal.
And on one of the Fox shows, they had a list of the agencies that had given money to the Democrat Party as opposed to the Republican Party.
Yeah.
And it was like 96%, 97% of the EPA, the energy, and all of these agencies, that those employees of that agency were given billions of dollars, and it was all going to the Democrat Party. So this is what you are fighting, and this is what opposition that Trump is getting, trying to drain this swamp.
That's right.
Yeah. All right, so here we're gonna just change gears for a minute. If you watched the Sunday shows last week, again, if you'd like to join the conversation, 734-822-1600. I know we're giving you so much information. You're like, I'm just gonna listen. Again, I didn't check the email. If you want to send us an email, we'll read the email and we'll talk about it. Also, you can send us an email, art@whamradio.com. One of the things that happened last weekend, I don't know if you had a chance to watch some of the Sunday shows, but the president sent out his new spokesperson. He's sharp, super sharp. I'm gonna just say Stephen Miller is really sharp, and so he sent out one of his spokespersons, Stephen Miller. And I caught something. Let me just give a side note. Some people that Phil and Amir, and all, we've been talking about this for years, that sound like a Republican.
Yep.
John McCain may have the R next to their name. Lindsey Graham. I'm sorry, what's her name? Snowden. What's that lady name?
No, that's yeah. You're talking about in Massachusetts. Snow. What is it? I don't even.
What's her? Well, anyway,
she's so unremarkable. I can't even think of her name.
She is a big
Olympia Snow.
There you go.
Snow is a big liberal.
Yeah.
Oh, it's just.
And Murkowski of Alaska, too.
Lord,
who stole the seat from Joe Miller, who was a solid conservative.
Exactly.
Man, oh, man.
Oh, my God.
But anyway, so one of the fake news outlets that has the lowest numbers when I looked at some of the polling, Fox News is in the top 5. Even the new the kid on the block, what's his name? That just started his show, took Megan place. He up in the top
Tucker
5.
Carlson, I love that guy.
And I love Tucker. When he asked a question, he had this innocent, puzzled look. But anyway. So they have the Sunday shows, and he might have had one misstep out of all the information. This guy is sharp, and so one of the things that he talked about, you probably heard Stephanopoulos asking, well, it's estimated that the border wall field is going to cost a lot more than what the president said. Yeah. His response was, wait a minute. How much money we spend on illegals in this country is estimated over. When I looked at this survey, it said that it's over $125 billion. He's talking about in jails and what it cost us to in our prison systems and welfare and schools and hospitals and medical care, so on and so forth, deporting them, and so all this money that it costs, he said, is estimated over $100 billion. He told me, stepping up and said, well, the wall is estimated to cost $25 billion. He said, but you know how much money we spend, it costs the country? Yeah. You know how much money it costs the states and cities and counties to house all these people? So anyway, they didn't focus on that. And so a guy that called himself a Republican, he said on Morning Joe said this, right? And then we're going to get to our calls. Morning Joe focused on something else, and then I want Phil to address this. I want you, Derek, can you give me soundbite number 1, part 2 of soundbite number 1? This is from Morning Joe.
This is a judicial usurpation of power. The end result of this, though, is that our opponents, the media, and the whole world will soon see, as we begin to take further actions, that the powers of the president to protect our country are very substantial and will not be questioned.
Okay, hold on just a minute. All right, I want you to, Derek, rewind that one. I want you to go to soundbite number 1. So I did it wrong in the wrong order. Go to number one for me. So number 1, part 1. I want to start with that one, and then I'm gonna go to that part. So I did it in the wrong order because I want to set up something. All right, if you don't mind, Derek.
This guy's holy. It is a fact, and you will not deny it. And the powers of the president are very substantial and will not be questioned.
Okay, so pause here for a minute. Okay, so let me just say this right here. I want to set this up. Me and you talked about this, Phil, and the power during where we in the midst of, it might not be a physical war, but we are in the midst of war with Al Qaeda, and all these different groups, and ISIS that President Obama didn't take out. They're still stronger than ever. That we watch them on real time on television. I'm talking about take out, cut the heads off Christians, cut the heads off Muslims, just destroy people. They come in the towns after a victory with a lone caravan and all these Toyotas. With a drone, you could take them all out, but he didn't take them out. And so right now, the president is saying, you know what we're going to do is we're going to have a moratorium right now for 90 days on people coming from some of the most hostile countries right now where Christians are persecuted. This is not him saying that. This is me saying this, that we went over a couple of weeks ago, from countries that Jews are not allowed to. Yeah. They're not allowed to go in at all. Jews are not accepted in some out of the 7. And there was a list of 13 of these countries in the Middle East that Jews are not forbidden. They're not welcome at all. Yeah. And Christians are. And so the power that the president has right now, explain to me right now, because was it the judges,
when Congress wrote the law of the immigration law, I think it was in the 60s, that this particular law is, they vested all of that power into the president of who can and who cannot come into this country. Mm-hmm. They vested that power into the president. And so for a judge to say that he can't do what he's done, then he would have to go back to Jimmy Carter, because he did it. He would have to go to George Bush, because George Bush stopped certain countries from coming in, probably close to all of those 7 countries that he now has on that list. George Bush the second, Bill Clinton, and Barack Obama, all of those people denied some of those countries access to this country on a executive order. And for them to tell Trump that he can't do it, that would be, to me, that should be unconstitutional, because what 5 or 6 other presidents got away with, they're telling him he can't do. And that's exercise his power as the chief executive officer of and the commander-in-chief, yeah, of who cannot come into this country.
And so my second part to the question is, and then we're going to finish that soundbite, because how can, a panel of judges make a decision and don't have the security information that the president has to make this decision, and they can make a decision based on information they have no idea about. Security.
It's a power grab.
See, that President Trump is briefed on things that these judges have no idea. A president is briefed on information that these judges do not know what's in these briefs. So he has to make a decision based on those briefs.
That's right. That's right. He really needs to clean house in the judiciary as well. And you know that the media is going to pull a hissy fit when he starts replacing these judicial activists who were appointed by Obama. That's what needs to happen. And then how quickly is the Republican Party and our new president, Donald Trump, going to fold and say, okay, we won't appoint any more judges?
Yeah.
And they do that all the time.
Yeah.
Well,
makes me so mad.
I hate to tell us this. Man, can you believe we got 1 minute left?
Oh, no. Oh, no.
We just get started. Yeah. I didn't even finish the soundbite.
Oh, my.
I said it when the halftime break came. I said, wow, that was fast.
I'm sorry. We're going to have to finish this. Phil is on next week, folks. But here, I want to, wow. I just want to say that people that we think that are Republicans, and I mean, you should have heard what it's gonna. You can go to our website and click on our YouTube. I have all the notes there. You want to hear what Morning Joe had to say about him. He want to call him a kid and tell him you didn't go to law school. You want to denigrate him. And so he might have misused one word, Stephen Miller did, but he was on the right track. He was on the right track, and the president does have these powers.
Yes, he does.
He has information that these judges don't have, and he made that decision based on that.
And, well, folks, we will see you next week. We will continue this discussion, I guarantee you.
And folks, don't forget to get your white privilege pin.
Go to our website, artofmichigan.com. We need your support. See you next week, folks.
Is that white pin? The Abolitionist Roundtable invites the WAAM TALK1600 listeners to continue the roundtable discussions by mailing correspondence to Art of Michigan, Post Office Box 135, Garden City, Michigan, 48135.
Or follow Phil, Del, and Janice at artofmichigan.com. You can also send emails to artofmichigan@hotmail.com. And most of all, continue to listen every Saturday and tell a friend.